to 8 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the Ball.
In association with Air. Don't miss live Allianz League's GAA action this month on the Air Sport Pack, the home of Irish sport.
This is News Talk.
How's it going? You're welcome along to Thursday's Off the Ball. Nathan with you until 10 o'clock this evening. It is day one of the Masters. Rory McIlroy has birdied his opening hole, but poor old Tiger finding just a little bit of trouble around Amen Corner. He's just been in Rays Creek on 12. He is 2 over par and he's about to drop at least one more shot, if not 2. He is currently 5 shots off the leader, Mark Leishman. We're going to have updates throughout the evening, analysis to come before 9 o'clock as well from Lawrence Donegan. Plenty of reaction also to events last night at Anfield. Liverpool's 3-0 win over Manchester City. John Giles will join us from 7:30. Keith Wood and Liam Toland on the line from 8 o'clock for a very special Thursday night rugby. We had to scrap Wednesday night rugby due to our extensive golfing coverage from Luttrell's Town.
Yeah, it's brilliant that.
Thanks,
Listen to
Kev.
it.
Well done, lads. Yeah,
we kept the show on the road and eased your workload, so you could enjoy. You could enjoy the first half of Liverpool Manchester City while we worked hard.
You kept the show on the road and weren't here until 10:15 talking to Kenny Cunningham. Is that it?
Yeah.
You saying that was tough going?
Extra time. We did extra time.
Literal extra time.
You got to put in for overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good luck with that.
He doesn't need it.
Football show coming your way from 9 o'clock as well. Ooh. You never know. We don't know. You don't know anybody's personal circumstances.
Honestly, medical bills actually skyrocketing in the last week.
It's a generalisation. That's what Richie's very much that person that just actually looks at someone and judges them. Very judgmental.
Kevin missed the boom times.
Very much.
He did a great career, but he missed the boom times.
Judgmental person. That's exactly what he is.
When all that Sky money arrived in, Kev was playing for Huddersfield.
Yeah, true enough.
Yeah.
So, listen, let's not make any generalisations here
about Huddersfield.
No, about Kev.
Yeah.
Maybe he does want that overtime. Anyway, football show coming from 9 o'clock. We're going to talk to Clive Tilsley.
Tilsley even.
Oh.
Clive Tilsley, that's what I said.
Say Clive. Clive
Tilsley. Listen, Richie, if we're going to be calling people out in pronunciations, it's going to be a long night for you.
Get his name right if you're going to be calling him up on the phone.
We're going to talk about that night in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Which one, Kev, when he scored against Andorra?
That was a great night, in fairness. Clive wasn't commentating. I'm sure Clive would have had a line specially prepared, though.
That was actually an early afternoon that game, but anyway.
Something momentous for that occasion. So Clive Tilsley coming after 9 o'clock, which we're really looking forward to.
Yeah.
Do you remember that night in Barcelona?
Can Manchester United score? They always score.
That is a brilliant line.
Yeah. You like that one, don't you?
Well, the entire final 3-4 minutes, he just nails it. He gets everything right. He anticipates that United are coming, that this goal is going to happen. Even senses, I think at one stage he says, if they get one, they're going to go and win it. He just knew. He judged the atmosphere perfectly.
He had a similar air about him for Istanbul, it has to be said, as well, because although Liverpool were 3-0 down, as soon as that Gerrard header goes in, there is a sense from Tilsley that if they get one, they could get their way back into this game.
And you remember that Shevchenko chance in injury time as well, or in extra time, should I say, that when that chance goes in, it's that, I think he nailed the line in there as well, if that's it, the name's on it. Whatever it was he said, that was it.
On the cup.
Yeah.
George Hamilton actually went one further without wanting to move away from Clive, but George Hamilton actually said when that Shevchenko double save was made by Dudek, Hamilton actually roared, Liverpool are going to win the Champions League.
Is he?
Yeah. There's no footage of it on YouTube.
All joking aside though, now, and I'm not taking the piss out of you here whatsoever. But would you actually study these commentators? You know, it's a genuine question to you. Like, you know, as a commentator yourself though, you're on that ladder to an extent. Do you
to an extent? Wow,
top of the ladder and where I am.
We've all got to start on some part of the ladder, Nathan.
Radio is very different to television.
Yeah, okay, well that's fine. I'm asking you the question: would you study commentators? Would you listen to what they say and see how they try and nail different sort of lines through?
I do. The best commentators. It sounds as though it's rehearsed, but it's not.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
They can hit the right spot at the right time with the right tone. What I like about Clive Tilsley is he never really loses it. He, even with United, 2 goals in injury time, Champions League final. It's very easy to lose the run of yourself.
Yeah.
But in fact, he got everything right. I think he just got the tone perfect, where he let the pictures speak, where he didn't need to be roaring and shouting. But then at the same time, you think of Martin Tyler and the Aguero, where he just loses the run of himself completely. That sort of felt right too.
Yeah. I don't know. Is it horses for courses? What they say? Whichever commentator, you've got to stick with your own personality. You've got to stick with what.
Well, I try, Kev.
I'm not.
Same with co-commentators. Be yourself.
No time.
Don't try and beat Jermaine Genius. You're not that guy. You be yourself, Kev.
Thanks a lot. That's great advice.
Yeah,
My favourite Clive Tilsley commentary is this one.
Reset in towards Gerrard. Hello. Here we go. Steven Gerrard puts a grain of doubt in the back of Milan minds and gives hope to all the many thousands of Liverpool fans inside the stadium. Captain's goal. Xabi Alonso hit by Smitsa. It's in. Vladimir Smitsa. 2 goals in 2 minutes for Liverpool. Miracles are possible. Xabi Alonso, and mission impossible is accomplished. Liverpool were 3-0 down 5 minutes ago. And now look at that scoreline. Liverpool are on terms. Yes, on terms. The weight of the world on his shoulders. There will be no second chances if Shevchenko misses. He saved it! The European Cup is returning to England and to Anfield. Liverpool are champions of Europe again.
You see, I think JP tried to screw me there. That wasn't my favourite one, but he wanted to sort of imply that for some reason...
I was going to ask that question. Why is that your favourite? Why is that your favourite?
Whereas actually, as you'll see when I'm doing commentary on the Merseyside Derby on Saturday, I'm totally neutral, because this is my favourite piece of Clive Tilsley commentary. I'll get it by 9 o'clock.
Just once.
I'll get it by 9 o'clock.
Rooney, instant control. Fancies his chances. Oh, brilliant goal! A brilliant goal! Remember the name, Wayne Rooney.
And that is perfect in so many ways.
Yeah.
He has just arrived on world football, and he's going to be around for a while. Nails it.
No, it is. That is.
With hindsight, he nails it. Rooney ends up having 2 games for Everton and becomes another Danny Cadamartry.
But that was never going to happen. So he knew, he had his research done. He understood where Wayne Rooney was, what the expectation around Wayne Rooney was, and said he's arrived. He's arrived in English football and he's here to stay.
Yeah, it is. It's great. It is great. It is a great commentator.
Who's your favourite commentator, Kev?
My favourite commentator?
On television.
On television, Dave McIntyre.
The laugh.
I thought this place was soundproof.
I know. I just heard the laugh all around me. There you go.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Say any more?
All right. Yeah. Clive Tilsley coming up on the football show just after 9 o'clock. 53106 is the text number at Off the Ball. On Twitter, we're on all your social media channels as well. Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, all that jazz. You've been watching the Masters. Let us know what you think so far. It's sort of a bit of a damn squib, I find, on a Thursday afternoon.
Is it?
It's I've still got that buzz.
I've still got that buzz at the moment.
This is sort of the time it really starts, when you actually get the proper analysis.
Scoring's not really, it's not big at the moment, is it? It's not, no one's really ripping it up. So
I generally expect someone to go shoot 65, 66, get to 6 or 7 under par. Mark Leishman's on 3 under at the moment. Tiger just hold that putt from the... So on the 12th tee, Jordan Spiethed it, found himself in Rays Creek, and then pretty much chunked his next approach as well. Just lands on the edge of the green, and he had about a 25-footer for a bogey, which he got.
Yeah.
And he is now 3 over par. So he's 6 shots off the lead.
Right,
it's sort of been a continuation of what we saw from Tiger over the last couple of months. At times, wild off the tee, scrambling quite well, just not holding any putts really so far today. So the Masters, where we're starting, Richie?
Yeah, it is. All 87 members of the field have now taken to the course for the 82nd edition of the US Masters. Rory McIlroy, as you mentioned, birdied his first. He remains 1 under par, playing alongside John Rahm and the 2013 winner Adam Scott today. The early lead, as you mentioned, held at Augusta by Mark Leishman, one of Tiger Woods' playing partners for today. With 6 holes to play, the Aussie is currently 3 under par and a shot clear of Bernd Wiesberger, who has just signed off on his round, 2 under par, the Austrian, as is Vijay Singh, who still has 2 holes to play. Jordan Spieth and Dustin Johnson's campaigns also just underway. Spieth has parred the first, Johnson still playing it. The group following McIlroy is comprised of Spieth, Alex Noren and Louis Westhuizen, while world number 1 Dustin Johnson playing alongside last year's runner-up Justin Rose and the Spaniard Rafa Cabrera Bello.
Tiger's just gone right again off the tee on 13.
He's been wayward literally since the first tee.
He's always wayward on the first tee. Every time at Augusta, that's just the way he is. He just hasn't been able to turn it around. So 3 over par. Even getting in at 75. think the last 10 winners have all been in the top 10 after the first day. It's a hard place to come back. And especially in Tigers' game, it's a hard place to go and try and push it over 2-3 days as you're trying to get to probably 9-10 under par at minimum that you're going to need to win this tournament.
Tommy Fleetwood they were seen as well, 2 over par as well among that group. Elsewhere, Arsenal play their first European quarter-final in 8 years tonight. Arsene Wenger's side welcoming CSKA Moscow to the Emirates for the first leg of their Europa League quarter-final. Arsenal line out as follows. Surprising perhaps that Petr Cech starts in goal. They've then got a back four of Hector Bellerin, Skrojan Mustafi, Lauren Koscielny and Nacho Monreal. In midfield, Granit Xhaka and Aaron Ramsey are in behind Henrik Mkhitaryan, Jack Wilshere and Mesut Ozil, with Alexandre Lacazette leading the Arsenal line. The competition now provides Arsenal's only route to Champions League football for next season, the pressure of which is something Arsene Wenger is conscious of.
Yeah, there is some extra pressure on us to do extremely well in this competition, and but that's part of being where we are, and I must say we have to see it in a way as well. It's an opportunity that we want to take.
David Ospina has an ankle injury.
There you go. Elsewhere tonight, an Iberian derby at the Wanda Metropolitano, with Atletico Madrid playing host to Sporting, who had a visit from one Cristiano Ronaldo in the lead up to that game. His former side, of course. Lazio welcome Salzburg to the Stadio Olimpico, while Red Bull Leipzig take on Marseille. And all of tonight's first legs have 8:05 starts.
Best bit of commentary was Jimmy McGee for the Maradona wonder goal versus England in '86. Different class. Yeah, it's up there.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Go on, Richie.
No, it's all right.
You have opinions on this?
That's all right. Different class.
George in Italia 90. George in Italia 90. David O'Leary. That's just the one, isn't it?
Richie's not having that either.
There's any number of Barry Davis ones that I could throw out here now.
Look at his face.
Look at his face. Is Gascoigne going to have a crack? UEFA have announced that they've opened disciplinary proceedings against Liverpool over the scenes that greeted Manchester City en route to Anfield last night. Bottles, cans and flares were thrown, forcing City to find a replacement bus, as we're seeing on screen, to take them home after a 3-0 defeat. Liverpool faced 4 charges in all for the setting off of fireworks, thrown objects, crowd disturbances and acts of damage. Merseyside police are also working to identify the supporters responsible. Liverpool as a club apologised before the game, called the scenes completely unacceptable and say they'll work with authorities to identify those responsible. No one on the bus was injured, thankfully, and UEFA's case won't need to be answered until May the 31st, after the Champions League final, coincidentally enough. City manager Pep Guardiola, speaking after the game last night, wasn't best pleased with the scenes.
So I didn't expect that for Liverpool side, for the people, but 1 year ago it happened something in Dortmund.
First time I've seen that.
So we come here to play football, to sports, and I don't understand this kind of situation. So, okay, nothing happened. The bus is destroyed, but I didn't expect from a club this prestigious like Liverpool do this kind of things. So, of course, it's not Liverpool, it's the people, but it wasn't 1, ni 2, ni 3. But hopefully, don't happen again.
So the footage we were watching there was footage from inside the bus, looking out. That's the first time you've seen it?
First time I've seen it. I didn't see it today. I saw a lot of the footage from outside looking in, but that's the first time I've seen that.
Brilliant. It was just a couple of idiots throwing bottles that ruin it for everybody else.
Yeah, I suppose so.
What's wrong with creating an atmosphere like that?
No, I know what you mean.
By trying to create an atmosphere like that, are you always opening it to the possibility?
Well, you are. There's obviously there's drink being had, hasn't there? And bottles then start to get lobbed at the bus. So that's what's.
It's a difficult thing to try and police, because you do have, obviously you've got the rolling guards in front of the bus, but it's like you've got a long street with about 4 or 5 people at least deep for a few hundred yards. I mean, trying to have police in enough numbers to kind of stop anything being... You're never going to stop anything being thrown.
There's more than one road into Anfield, and Merseyside police announced in advance which way the buses were going to be coming in.
Is that right?
Which allowed everybody to come and gather around as they did. Yeah. So maybe there's some policing issues they need to look at as well. But clearly, listen, the bus was wrecked at the front of it. It got out of hand. A few people start throwing a few bottles. Everybody gets a little bit braver. And as you say, people have had a couple of drinks and sort of lose the run of themselves. It has most definitely tarnished the reaction to Liverpool's victory last night.
That was the headlines that you see, don't you? See the headlines, yes, Liverpool on the pitch, great, but predominantly from what I'd seen today, whether that would be on any of the on the websites or any of the back pages today, that was the headline. That's what's dominating.
Now that you look at those pictures and you see what the Manchester City players were seeing on the way in, do you think they were affected by it?
Oh yeah, I do. We Richie and I had asked Kenny that last night, and Kenny wasn't really having it. But
Neither was Gary this morning either.
Yeah, I think there are certain people, certain lads that would be affected by it. I'm not saying them all, and you know what? I think I'd said to Richie last night, there would have been lads that I would have been in the team with that would have probably, come on, bring it on. A few little V signs, flick back at them. But in general, I think there would have been a lot of lads that would have been intimidated from that. Yeah.
I guess part of the problem is it's so unusual now.
Yeah.
That football has changed both inside and outside the stadium. That actually an atmosphere like that you just don't see it.
Just takes you
so
back,
if you're a 22, 23-year-old, you're used to getting into your luxury coach. And it's a 5-star trip to the stadium. You're ushered straight in. You literally probably don't even have to see a supporter until you walk out onto the pitch. And then you go to that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're saying you go to the Emirates, don't you? We've been to the Emirates. Emirates is underground. Anything, some of the stadiums, I think even the Etihad's underground. So Liverpool's coach next week will probably be guided in a certain way. Probably, it certainly won't be that. Anfield's very unique for that it's still that old stadium that they can't actually do anything with it. They couldn't access the ground or access the stadium underground. So that's
Vincent Kompany says they have their own reception.
It won't be that. I'm going to tell you now. It won't be that.
The Tunnel Club.
Yeah. It is.
Throwing their lobster bisque at the windows.
Glass of wine.
Elsewhere, the Republic of Ireland women's side dealt a blow ahead of their World Cup qualifiers with Slovakia and the Netherlands. Midfielder Tyler Toland has been ruled out. She suffered a fractured wrist. Colin Bell's side take on Slovakia tomorrow at Tallaght Stadium, looking to continue their unbeaten start to Group 3. While the Republic of Ireland under-17s know who they'll face at next month's European Championship finals. Collie O'Brien's side have been drawn in Group C along with Belgium, Denmark and Bosnia-Herzegovina. The top 2 in each group will progress to the quarter-finals. Ireland qualified for the tournament with a perfect record of 6 wins from 6, conceding just the 1 goal along the way.
Who made the draw, Richie?
Wayne Rooney and John Delaney.
Fair play, yeah. There you go.
It's a big one for John, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. It is.
Working his way up the ladder.
Did John...
Everyone's got to start somewhere.
Did John pull us out of the hat? Do you know that?
I don't know. I presume he would. If only the 2 of them are making the draw, then I'd assume...
Well, it's 50% chance,
50% chance, yeah.
Don't know.
Do you feel this is a starter for John now that you work up and then you get to the 19s and eventually in 10 years time we're seeing Wayne Rooney at the draw for the 2026 World Cup. 2026 World Cup.
It's going to be Europe. It's going to be UEFA. It's going to be a UEFA deal. See, what John's looking to work his way towards. No, what he's looking to do now. He's going to be overseeing the UEFA qualifiers for the World Cup in 2026. That's where Delaney's looking at himself next, being the Gianni Infantino, if you will, for the worldwide audience.
That's a good gig, Richie.
It's a hell of a gig, and best of luck to him. It's nice to see the Irish doing well on the world stage, isn't it? Anyway, All-Ireland club finalists in the Pearse League account for 6 members of the 36-man Limerick hurling panel confirmed for the Munster Championship. It's a youthful panel with 10 members having no prior championship experience and 14 members of last year's All-Ireland under-21 winning side. 7 of the panel are available again for the under-21 grade this term, but there's no place for Ronan Lynch. Limerick begin their Munster campaign against Tip on May the 20th. Interesting story this afternoon that World Rugby are to convene an independent disputes committee to review the sequence of events that saw Romania qualify for next year's Rugby World Cup. Spain lost 18-10 to Belgium in last month's World Cup qualifier, which was officiated by a Romanian referee. The Belgian win saw Romania qualify for a place in Ireland's group at next year's finals at Spain's expense, prompting a complaint. World Rugby say those refereeing issues would indeed have themselves warranted a replay, but they are now seeking to investigate multiple questions over player eligibility at the qualifier tournament, which spreads across a number of sides.
So it's not just one of the teams involved in this game?
No, it's not. I think Russia are involved in it as well, and they're looking to basically, I think they're looking at each game from scratch in this qualifier tournament to see who is available for what, who should have been actually available to play, not only just the Romanian referee that was in charge of Spain-Belgium. It's a mess.
John Motson for Robbie Keane against Germany and Japan.
Look at these scenes.
Just look at these scenes. Camera goes from Big Mick to the fans behind the goal. I was in the middle of it, so always get the hairs
on the back of my neck standing up. I remember John Motson for that one, actually.
You were playing. Yeah.
No, I know, but I would have heard it back. Unbelievable, these lads, honest to God.
Is it difficult when you're playing and you're not living your life with the commentary in your ears? It'd be far better. Like when they put the Titanic music with things. Where did you run to when Robbie scored the goal? Did you run to Robbie? Did you run to the sideline,
but run off on my own, and go and celebrate alone away from everybody else. Yeah. I don't think that's my style, Nath. Let's be quite honest about that. No, of course, we got in the mix. All the boys, we're all down together, weren't we?
Yeah. That's a good moment.
Yeah, great moment, wasn't it? Great moment. Yeah.
Clive used to do brilliant packages as well for the BBC. When in his brief tenure there too, he'd be obviously rounding up goals on Football Focus. Those goal packages are kind of hard to kind of get right, and Clive did them right. Elton Wellesby was another one who did them right as well. And Ian Payne, when he was on Sky as well, looking back on the Southampton meeting with Sunderland at the Dell.
What year was that?
2001, I think. And
I think it was 2000.
Okay. 2000. Yeah. There's a goal by some...
No mark.
Yeah.
Some no mark.
Did he mean it? One of those
Did he
lines.
mean it? Yeah. I was hoping Clive had commentated on that. But alas, it wasn't to be. They didn't ask that about Cristiano Ronaldo, did they?
Well, technically, we've had this ongoing debate, which we shouldn't get into again because, quite frankly, it's boring.
It is boring now, honestly. Adrian Barry talking
over whether or not Ronaldo meant to put the ball in the exact spot.
I, for once in my life, agree with Adrian Barry. I do think he meant.
Nathan, you're a football man as well.
I know.
Honest to God,
which is why my opinion is really valid here.
He's not. He's a hurling man from the hurling stronghold of Ballyhonnet.
Oh yeah. Keith Higgins back for Mayo now. Don't want to say.
It's the only thing that matters. Nels, Richie, before we wrap.
Speaking of matters, Connacht themselves edging closer to full strength ahead of tomorrow's Pro 14 trip to the Ospreys. Jared Butler captains the side from open side in a back three that also comprises Owen McKeown and Sean O'Brien, a back three in the pack that is. John Muldoon named on the bench. Ultan Delan returns to the second row while there starts in the front three for Conor Kerry and Shane Delahunt. A win at the Liberty will keep Connacht in the hunt for a playoff place from Conference A. We should mention as well Rory Best returning to the Ulster side for the first time since captaining Ireland to the Grand Slam. They are away to Edinburgh.
Punchestown later this month. Kilbane, I'm sure will be there.
Hoping to go, yeah.
Altior, Main and Gosone are going to be there to renew their rivalry at the Punchestown Festival later this month. The first three horses home in the Cheltenham Queen Mother Champion Chase all been entered in the opening day's feature, the Boyle Sport Champion Chase there. Cheltenham winners Sam Crow and Balco de Flo will also be in action at the 5-day festival, which starts on Tuesday, April 24th. Ruby Walsh also hoping to return at that one. Mark Leishman now has a one-shot lead at the Masters. He's 4 under par. Henrik Stenson just behind him on 3 under. Rory is 1 under through 2 holes. Jordan Spieth is also level par, as is Dustin Johnson, who's parred that first hole.
Nicholson
is 1 under there as well, while Tigger is 3 over.
Yeah, we're going to be talking UFC on tomorrow evening show. What is the latest with McGregor?
He's turned up to the Barclays Centre for one, so the scenes that should follow in the next while should be interesting. He'll be stripped of his UFC lightweight title come this Saturday. UFC President Dana White confirmed that the clash of featherweight champion Max Holloway and the unbeaten Habib Nurmagomedov at UFC 223 will be for the lightweight title. McGregor's never defended the belt, which he won in a TKO of Eddie Alvarez at UFC 205 in November of 2016. When news of the title stripping began doing the rounds this morning, McGregor tweeted even in his typically erudite fashion, "You'll strip me of nothing, yous do nothing, see you next Tuesdays."
For a split second there, Richie.
Professional.
I thought it was the end of Richie's career.
Professional. White also confirmed today that Brock Lesnar will return to the UFC. Those White's words himself. The former heavyweight champion hasn't fought since his UFC 200 win over Mark Hunt in July of 2016, a win that was later overturned after Lesnar tested positive for clofamine. His WWE contract is said to be up after WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans this Sunday. Although he'd be a free agent, Lesnar would still have 6 months of a drugs ban left to serve.
All right, thanks a lot for that. Richie be here throughout the evening. A lot going on in the Europa League and of course the Masters as well, where Mark Leishman on 4 under par holds a one-shot lead over Henrik Stenson. Rory McIlroy 1 under par after 2. Tiger Woods back on 3 over par. Kev will be here as well. As I say, Clive Tilsley coming up on the football show.
Oh, you got it right.
Thursday night rugby after 8 o'clock, and we'll check in with Lawrence Donegan as well on the golf. But up next, as always on a Thursday, it's John Giles.
Off the Ball on News Talk.
In association with Air. Don't miss live and exclusive Premier League action this month on the Air Sport Pack.
The Eason Book Club on the Pat Kenny Show.
This month, Eason recommended 4 books for us. Red Clocks by Lenny Zumas, Tangerine by Christine Mangan, The Killing of Butterfly Joe by Rydian Brooke. And this April, the Eason Book Club Book of the Month is The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. It's 1969 in New York City's Lower East Side, and word has spread of the